Hi there. Thanks very much for clicking on the video link. My name is Natalie Armstrong-Motin with Marketing Resolution, and this is another in the series of idle chat videos for the American Bar Association's section for dispute resolution. And today I get to talk to a colleague who, although originally from Baltimore, is now in North Carolina. This is Gary. Hi, Gary.
Hey, how are you, Natalie? Great to be here. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm so glad you could join me. I'm doing very well. So listen, Gary, you and I are scheduled to have an idle chat. And so we're going to shuffle these cards and see what we will be talking about today. I don't know. I know that you're a big golf fan, and I have to admit, I don't have any golf questions on these cards, but maybe we'll find something that we can relate to golf in some way. So, but let's get started. Gary, what is your favorite city?
It has to be where I am now. I live in Pinehurst, North Carolina. I lived in Baltimore my whole life, but I really love it. I love it here. It's peaceful, beautiful, calm, great climate. Sun shines most of the time when it's not raining, and it's just beautiful.
And there's golf courses.
And a lot of golf courses, right? I'm sort of a golf addict. That's my thing, recreationally, and just love it.
Right. See how we tied that in. First question. Nailed it. Nailed it. All right. Next question. Gary, are you a good dancer?
I'm a terrible dancer. But I enjoy it because my wife Brenda is a very good dancer. So I let her take charge and we have fun dancing, even though it's not something I'm naturally adapted to. I'm a little clumsy and a little awkward, but I turn it over to Brenda and we do just fine.
Nice partnership then. Gary, what is the best holiday at your house?
I guess it has to be Christmas. We have 5 children spread in 3 different states, but we all try to get together for Christmas. And particularly the joy now of seeing our 5 grandchildren who are presently 7, 5, and 3 who are 4. It's just wonderful. We love getting them together.
That's the good stuff, isn't it? Good stuff. All right, Gary, next card reads, if you had to live 1 month completely off the grid, would you consider that a holiday or a nightmare?
Oh, a holiday. I get too addicted to my phone and to connections, and I think without being required to do that, I would never really do it. And I think if we had to find a place that we could just be alone and enjoy the beauty of wherever we are and to connect, it would be really great. I kind of grew up in an era where we didn't have all the modern technology. We actually sent letters and we put them in the mail, and the process of being a lawyer was very different. That's much slower. In some ways, I mean, you wouldn't send nasty emails to someone. You'd have to call and say, Natalie, I got this issue with what you did, and we'd talk it out and it would work out. So I think there are a lot of benefits of our modern technology, but I know I, for one, struggle with being too connected to it sometimes.
Yeah, I think that's a challenge for a lot of us. Gary, what artist or band do you always recommend when someone asks for a music recommendation?
I'm a country fan. I don't really have one band I like the most, but it used to be Sugarland was who I liked the most. And I guess they haven't really done much recently, but I listen to most anything country, and Sugarland would be my favorite. We've been to a couple of their concerts and really enjoyed them.
Good for your wife, because that's good dancing music.
Yes.
There you go. All right. What is the oldest thing that you own?
Wow. What used to have been my clothes, because I never threw out clothes, but I had sort of a nutritional change a couple of years ago and I lost weight. So I got downsized. So I cleaned out my closet, but it probably would still be that. I probably still have a sport coat I've had since I was a kid, and haven't bought all new sports coats. So it's got to be some ties and sport coats that I probably had for 50 years, which is a bit long, you know.
I suppose that depends where you're starting and ending from, but 50 years, that's a good run for a tie and a coat. Good run. Gary, sir, Miracle Whip or mayonnaise?
Mayonnaise. Has to be Hellman's too if Brenda's in charge. I would get the generic, but she insists only on Hellman's.
You know, there are some things you should go ahead and spend the extra money on. Shoes, mayonnaise.
Yeah, well, I'm one of those that I'm real good about. It's kind of a sick obsession or whatever, weird character defect. I can spend big money on something as a gift for a kid and have no problem with it. But then I go to the store and I think generic or brand name, there's 10 cents different. I get obsessed with those little things. It's kind of weird.
That's all right. We all have those little things. In your opinion, sir, what is fine in small numbers, but terrifying in large numbers? Beyond a golf score.
Oh yeah, there's a good one. I guess insects. I don't mind seeing a bee, but I wouldn't like to see a swarm of them. I saw that video of all those birds crashing down somewhere. I don't mind seeing a bird, but I wouldn't want to see, I love to look outside now and see a couple birds in the trees, but I'd be a little scared if I saw 2,000 of them on the trees. So I'm going to pick kind of insects and birds, things of that nature.
I think that, you know, lots of things could be terrifying in a large number. You know, you see a couple of guys rolling down the road on a motorcycle, excellent, fine. See 500,000 of them coming towards you on motorcycles. That would be
That's
intimidating.
True. Yeah, that's true.
So I think it can be
That's
anything.
a good question. That's one I hadn't really even ever thought about as a topic for discussion. I like that question.
Oh, well, I'm glad you do. Thanks. All right. Let's see. This one reads, if you could have an all expenses paid trip to see any world monument, which monument would you choose?
I guess the Eiffel Tower. I've been to Paris once and I've seen it, but I know Brenda would really like to go to Europe, and that would probably be the first place we would choose to go to. Although she's Dutch by ancestry, and so Netherlands would be our choice, but I can't think of a monument in Netherlands. So you could probably help me with that. But going to Europe and starting in France and Paris and then heading up to Amsterdam would be my choice.
All right. Well, I've lived in both places. You come this direction and I will absolutely be your tour guide. You just let me know.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Gary, last question I ask every guest, and that is, what do you love most about the resolution industry or the work that we do?
I'm a huge believer in mediation. I work for one of our county courts as what they call settlement officer, which is a little different than what I was trained as a mediator. But it was basically volunteer. It was a very, very minimal compensation. But I love so much being able to take parties who would walk in and say, you know, we'll never settle, and get them to shake hands and both be satisfied afterwards. I'm a trial lawyer by trade. I've tried a lot of cases. It's always stressful. It's very, very expensive and very, very unpredictable. When I did personal injury work, all the cases I tried, the verdict was never, not once, between the offer and the demand. It was always much above the demand or zero or below the offer. And the parties deserve better. And it really, really works. So I'm a huge believer in mediation and even in arbitration. I have a classmate who started an arbitration practice, and in the pandemic, people wanted to get their cases resolved. They go to him before half a day, 6 hours, instead of a 4-day trial. They just present him the documents, maybe the client testifies, and they come away with a fair and reasonable result. So I think it really is better in so many ways. And in family law, which I do now primarily, very, very, very seldom try a case. Once the parties work through their emotions, they usually see the benefits of settling. But when we have to try a case, it's usually because somebody's just off. There's something not right that they can't see the benefits of working it out amicably, particularly when they're family members. I mean, they're going to be parents of the same children. Why create the hostility of having to attack the other parent in court? So cost savings, stress savings, and predictable results are the three main reasons why I think mediation is really the way to go.
Excellent. All right. And if somebody wants to pull you off the golf course and engage your services, what's the best way for them to find you?
On LinkedIn under my name, Gary Miles, and my website is garymiles.net. And love to connect with anyone. I'm huge in wellness in the legal field. I worked with the Lawyer Assistance Committee and the Maryland State Bar for quite some time. And my passion now today is help lawyers have a more successful and fulfilling life.
That's an excellent passion. Thank you so much for all the good work you do.
Thank you, Natalie. Thanks for having me as your guest.
My pleasure.